In fact, let's go to the Western Cape, where taxi strike has entered day 7 with no end in sight. In fact, a stalemate in the negotiating stalemate has also been reached. The issue has now become a political football. City of Cape Town officials and cabinet ministers are engaging in a war of words. The strike has claimed so far 5 lives and is causing major disruptions. In fact, education, healthcare and businesses are being affected. eNCA's Kevin John Brandt is on the streets of Cape Town and joins us now. We understand, Kevin, that things are still somewhat volatile at the moment. What has been your assessment from where you stand?
A very good morning to you, William. Well, the commuters that spoke to me here at the bus terminus next to the Cape Town train station indicated that a lot of them have been here since very early this morning. Some 6 o'clock, some say that they've been here since 7 o'clock this morning, as it's also a public holiday, which makes transport on this day, despite the fact that there's a strike ongoing, even worse. So a lot of them frustrated, tired, they've worked night shift and having to come and wait here at the bus depot. A lot of them say that they want the authorities now, or they would like for the authorities to sort out the differences between them in order for them to resume normal traveling using public transport. Some have also highlighted the issue of safety. There is still a large police and law enforcement contingent out on the streets to ensure that communities are being kept safe. I understand that there will also be an update from Santaco following their meeting with the National Transport Minister now within this hour, as they will likely pave the way forward as to what will happen come tomorrow morning, when a lot of these people will have to transport back to work again. One of the commuters joining me now is Abdul Qayyum, and he will tell us a bit more about what was your experience like with regard to public transport over these past couple of days since the taxi strike was announced.
Thank you so much. So firstly, happy birthday, Kim Flotman. It's her birthday today, it's 9th of Women's Day. I've been stranded in town for the last 2 days. Luckily, my company, the Ignition Group, they've actually booked me at 2 hotels, the Rockefellers and the Sky Hotel, so it was quite an experience. However, a lot of people are stranded, and it wasn't a very nice experience, especially for the fact that you needed the public transport. There's no more trains. The buses are, as we can see, at this minimal because of, the taxi violence ongoing. 10 buses destroyed, multiple cars destroyed. So I just feel that we should have these matters resolved with immediate effect, because this has a vital impact on our economy, and obviously transport is the blood or the veins. People are the blood and the economy is the heart. So in order for the body to work, everything needs to just work together. So please guys, have these things resolved.
Abdul Qayyum, he's a commuter here in Cape Town, expressing his frustration and telling us a bit more about the alternative plans that his workplace have had to implement to ensure that staff members were able to make their way to their place of work. Now, as I've said, there is that announcement from Santaco expected within this hour, and hopefully mapping the way forward so that commuters, when they do make their way to work tomorrow morning, at least have an idea what transport modes will be available to them, and if indeed taxis will then return to the streets tomorrow morning, William.
Kevin, before I let you go, we are hearing from the representatives of Santaco that press briefing has been postponed or delayed, as it were. Is there anything else that you can share with our viewers this morning at the moment?
William, we've also made our way to the Drakensberg municipality, that is in the area of Paarl, where there was still sporadic scenes of violence playing out. We understood from some of the commuters there, many of them too scared to speak to us on camera, and they explained to us that they are being targeted if they want to make their way to work. People are being stopped in the street and they're being questioned where they are traveling to. According to them, it was people in involved with the taxi industry, or taxi drivers at least, to stop some of the civilians, the commuters in that community who are trying to make their way to work, and they now had to dress themselves in civilian clothes and not put on their work uniform for them to enable them to go to their places of work. We also understand that in the area of Kayamandi, that is in Stellenbosch, that there is also a law enforcement presence there following scenes of violence that also played out in that community. It's unclear whether that can be linked to the taxi strike. We've heard before the sentiments of Santaku saying that they distance themselves from the violent acts that have been playing out over the course of the last couple of days during the strike. So issues with regard to that will also likely being discussed when this briefing by them eventually takes off, William.
Kevin Brandt, live to us from Cape Town. Thank you so much for that elaborate report.